Hi, Debbie. Hi, Mayan. My name is Neil Bowie. I'm with Dorkaholics.com. Super excited to talk to you both about Lopez versus Lopez.
Excited
Oh,
to
thank
talk
you
to you
so much.
too. Thank you for
Yes.
having us.
So, my first question is for Mayan. Growing up and seeing your dad on TV, did you ever think that you could someday work in entertainment, let alone star in a series with him in a story inspired by your real lives and relationship?
I've always wanted to be a performer ever since I just could walk. Like I since I was 5, and I was about 5 years old when the George Lopez show started. And so I feel like one of my some of my most formative memories are just the sound stage was my second home, and just watching the original cast of the George Lopez show, and just always being absorbed, and I fell in love with it from the business side as well as the acting side. And I went to college and I studied, and I've always wanted to be a performer, but my parents were very much wanting me to have a childhood. And so I would have never thought in my wildest dreams that I would be able to do a sitcom, let alone like with my dad. Of and it's a beautiful thing that I still pinch myself that I'm able to work and collaborate with him and keep up with him, and shine next to him, and we're shining together, and we're able to, even sometimes on set, he looks at me, he's like, I cut your cord and now you're here next to me. And he's like, hey, this is great. There's two of me, I'm able to, he's like, oh, he's like someone else who shares my sense of humor and does that. And it's just been the most wonderful thing. And I fell in love with it. Like sitcom, and I have a much more respect for my dad, I think, going forward, because it's such a unique medium, and to be able to do it with him is the greatest gift. And I'm so glad that people are loving and watching the show as well. That makes it even better.
For Debbie, walk us through that moment that you saw Mayan's TikTok and you just had that gut feeling that there's a story here that needs to be told. Like, what were the thoughts and emotions going through your mind?
I mean, it's not every day that you come across a TikTok where it's George Lopez's daughter talking about like all these like sordid details of like the divorce with her mom, and she's twerking upside down. I was just like, this is an incredible work of art. And immediately I emailed like Bruce Helford, who's the creator of the original Lopez show, and he also was my boss on the Connors. And so I emailed him and I was like, you have to see this. This is a show. This is a show. This is how we bring George Lopez back to network television. It's a show with his daughter, and now he's the Benny.
Nice.
And Bruce Helford agreed immediately, and then from there it was like lightning. It really was like lightning as soon as I saw the video, and I was obsessed with it. I watched it probably like 25 times that night because I was
Oh, I
like,
thank
oh
you.
my God. Yeah, it was just so raw, and so she's putting everything out there. And me as a writer, that I always strive to do that in my work. Like all my work comes from my life. I put my life on the page. And so here I saw this young woman, young Latina woman, doing the same, and I was like, this is someone that I really want to collaborate with, and I really want to be in business with.
Lopez versus Lopez hooked me since I saw the very first trailer, seeing representation as a child of divorced parents working to resolve my own father issues.
Mhm.
What would each of you say is a secret to success in telling stories that are not only inclusive but universal?
I like to sometimes think comedy is just tragedy in time. And I feel like this kind of came about perfect timing, because I think with my dad and I, yes, it is very personal, but I feel like a lot of time, enough time has passed so
Hmm.
that it's not as raw, and it's not as fresh. And I think that's easier to draw on than getting, it's like a memory. It's in the past. And yes, you can still harness those emotions, but it's not like it's going to tear you down. You can visit it, but you don't live there.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good place to create art from, because you can leave it on the stage, you can leave it out there, but you can bring out the authenticity and the realness that makes the show and some of those scenes, just particularly where you can see a real father and daughter acting. Like, we're just not acting, we're just talking with each other. I think that brings it together in a really unique way.
I would say therapy helps. I mean, we've gone
Yeah.
through a lot of therapy and we've had a lot of time to reflect on, our past,
Hmm.
our past mistakes, and sort of the generational trauma and things that we've been through. We've done a lot of reflecting, and, that really helps you tell the story, because you understand, what's going on behind the characters, as they're doing what they're doing, and saying what they're saying. So yeah, that's definitely a big part of it. But yeah, and I just think, yeah, we just always try to keep it real, keep it authentic. The stories are mined from George and Mayan's real life, things that they've really been through, things that the writers in the room have been through. I always enforce that in my room. I say, like, we shouldn't be telling a story just because we think it's funny. We should be telling a story because it's real.
Mm.
And like, let's start there, like, and then we'll find the funny. But like, let's start at the core of, like, what happened, and then and go from there. And then that's what will resonate with an audience is, you just tell your story, you tell your truth, you put your truth out there, and other people are going to relate to it.
What have you each learned from each other in the process of creating Lopez versus Lopez?
I know with Debbie, like I admire so much of her power, and that she's someone that really took an idea and went through with it. I think it's a good lesson of, you have ideas and you think it's good, but you don't have the follow through. And I think that is something that if you believe in something, you should follow through with it. And just seeing how she's always on top of everything, and makes it, I know it's not always easy, but she brings such grace and such laughter and like a beautiful energy into set, and to be able to work with her, I'm like, she's just as lovely working with her. And we don't like bite each other's heads off, like it's really, it's like we're Aries. I'm like, it could have easily been two Lopez
Yeah,
going at each other sometimes, but no, it's Debbie Lopez versus Lopez, but Wolfe with Lopez.
that's so
That one.
sweet. Thank
Yeah.
you, Mayan.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, watching Mayan grow through this process has been such a beautiful thing. Like, I like when people ask me, what are you most proud of? Like, what aspect of the show is you most proud of? I say Mayan, because like, watching her grow, from she was, making TikToks, and she had done a few acting things, to starring in her own sitcom. It was a huge leap. And she just like went in there, and she's like, I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna commit to this, and I'm gonna bring it. And she does. She brought it every day. And I'm like, I am so in awe of her. Like, at 26, I would not have been able, I would be like a nervous wreck. I would not be able to handle this. But Mayan just handles it with such strength and bravery and beauty and honesty. And she wears her heart on her sleeve. And I'm just like, I'm so, so proud of her.
Thank you.
Love you.
Oh, I love this relationship. Thank
Yeah.
you so much for your time today, guys.
Thank you so much, Neil.
Thank you, Neil.